What is up, guys? 10th Man here, bringing another exciting Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battle. Here I have a UU match against my good buddy Red Shiner 23, and let me tell you, I have so much difficulties against him a lot, because we play UU probably the most of any tier, and I always struggle against one particular Pokemon of his, and that's a Bronzong, and he runs a very strange Bronzong, which we'll get into later, but you know, looking from the team, the things I'm worried about the most are definitely that Bronzong. I'm kind of concerned about Tornadus. And Zapdos is always a pretty big threat. Swampert. And he has a Hodgecrow. So I'm like, well, crap. I got to take precautions. But I just brought some random things and brought a Bronzong of my own. And it's not, and I brought a Sharpedo, and it's not the Sharpedo that you're used to seeing from my earlier vids. It's actually a special attacker. But I'll stop rambling and get on to this battle. So I figure probably my best lead in the situation would probably be my Frostlass. That way I can taunt whatever he wants to lead off with, like taunt his Bronzong, for example. But he actually surprises me and actually leads off with his Tornadus. Now, I know his Tornadus set because I faced it before. It's actually a Scarf Tornadus, and I was fearing the Dark Pulse because he told me that he runs the Dark Pulse on his Tornadus. Now, what I should have done was I should have just stayed in because Dark Pulse probably can't KO me at full health, so kind of pretty bad misplay on me, on myself in the beginning. I really should have just stayed in and scouted, and maybe I could have gotten like a free layer of spikes up or something. But now he's going to bring out Swampert, and you know, from Swampert I usually expect Stealth Rocks or you know, things like that. But I didn't, you know, I just wanted to switch out into something that, you know, could take Stealth Rocks and just try it in and out. So that's why I bring out my Shaman. This Shaman is actually a Choice Specs variant. But, oh, hi, I see Superpower, and I'm like, well, shoot, that's definitely a Bandit Swampert, and it's going to do a crap ton to my Shaman. But, that kind of stinks. But, you know, because Shaman's such a, you know, a good Pokemon in general. I mean, Bronzong walls it for days. But, you know, Shaman's such a good special attacker, and yeah, I got two things that are kind of crippling my Shaman here, and it's Umbreon and Bronzong. But I'm going to go for a Seed Slayer on the Switch. I don't care what comes in. Unfortunately, I miss as the Umbreon comes in. And Umbreon, of course, is always pretty scary. It can either, you know, curse or sub and all that fun jazz. I mean, some people, you know, are like, curse is such a noob set. But, you know, if you're not prepared for curse, it will sweep you because it's a bitch, okay? I mean, if you don't have a good steel type, ugh. Once it gets enough curses, payback's gonna hurt. I'm sorry, it becomes almost impossible to take down. But you know, Umbreon can't really do anything to Bronzong, so he's actually gonna baton pass the sub, and I'm like, baton pass. But what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna set up Stealth Rocks on the Switch or whatever, because getting rocks up are, you know, very handy. But you know, Bronzong really can't do anything to Zapdos, so I'm just going to switch on into my Umbreon, knowing my Umbreon can take anything that this Zapdos has to offer. And Zapdos is going to go for the Heat Wave, which, you know, barely does anything to Umbreon. I don't know if that's Expert Belt damage or what, but, you know, from judging from that, it seems to be Expert Belt damage. So he's going to, you know, he's kind of forced to switch out since he really can't do anything. And he's going to bring it back out of Swampert just to try to threaten me out of the Superpower. I'm just going to go for the Wish. Now, I could have gone for Foul Play, but I'm like, I kind of really prefer just use Wish, just because it's Wish. Wish is always a good option. And just, you know, just to make sure he's going to go for Superpower, you know, I'm going to go for Protect. Then, yes, that is exactly what he does, because, you know, if he went for Waterfall or something, I could have potentially brought in Shaman, you know, but it's like, I could still probably die from that considering it's Bandit and I only have like 100 HP left. But knowing that he's locked into the Superpower, I'm just going to bring out my Frostlass because, you know, I'm immune to it. And I can easily, you know, get up a free layer of spikes or something. So that's the game plan here. And as he goes into his Ding Dong, the Bronzong, and, yeah, I'm going to get up a free layer of spikes because he's forced to switch. And why not go for the spikes? You know, it's always a good option. But, you know, I'm here in Stealth Rock because Stealth Rock's a thing. So, you know, I figured my best intent was to, you know, prevent those Stealth Rocks from coming up and just use Taunt. I don't run Destiny Bond on this Frostlass. I mean, it's kind of weird. Destiny Bond actually isn't standard on Frostlass, which is kind of weird. I guess they prefer Pain Split, which is what I run on this set. But this Frostlass actually runs some defensive investment, actually has some defense EVs, but that's still not enough to withstand a Gyro Ball. I thought I would live that, but apparently I can't, so that kind of sucks. I figured I could take at least one, but I guess I'm just either underestimating Bronzong's attack or I'm overestimating the defensive build I gave to Frostlass. So it's going to bring out Sharpedo, since it's really only the best thing I have to take on the Bronzong. And now, what I really should have done was I should have gone for the Hydro Pump here, but I just decided to be safe and try to go for the flinch, just so that way I don't, wanted to get some damage on it. So I just want to go for the safe stab Dark Pulse and not risking a miss. As Honchkrow comes in, and, Honchkrow's pretty frail, so Dark Pulse is going to do a pretty nice chunk to it. But, I really don't want to, take a hit or anything, so I'm just going to bring out my Bronzong because, it's a pretty nice check to Honchkrow. And he's going to go for the Sucker Punch, predicting me to attack him again. That's not going to be the case. I want to keep my Sharpedo at pretty good health because it's actually a pretty big threat to his team. So now he's going to bring out his Bronzong again, as he can't really do anything. And I believe, what do I do here? I go for the Gyro Ball, that's right, just to try to take him out. And but of course that's not going to happen. Now, seeing that he actually took Spike's damage on entry, that means he's running Heat Proof. Now, this is a crazy play. He uses Skill Swap. And I'm like, no, are you freaking kidding me? No, he gets Levitate. I get Heat Proof. Then what do? I go for the Earthquake. And, of course, he now has my Levitate. So that fucking sucks. And I'm like, oh, God fucking jeez. So now I'm pretty much forced to switch. I can't do anything to that Bronzong now, so I'm going to bring up my Meloetta, and he's just going to, he finds this a good opportunity to get up his rocks, which is fine, it's whatever, but this Meloetta, let me tell you, it isn't a special attacker. Yes, I have Relic Song on this Meloetta, which means things are going to happen, especially since I get that lucky 20% chance to sleep. Lucky Serene Grace. Oh, yeah. Get that big defensive threat of sleep. Meloetta is now in its pirouette form. Now ready to close combat anything that tries to come in its way. Oh, Meloetta, you're just a monster. But, yeah, that's that. And I'm just going to smack this thing out of a stab, life orb. Oh, close combat. Goodness gracious. That's going to do a huge chunk to that Bronzong. That's a great thing, and cats are... Every video lately has just been dealing with cats that are everywhere in this fucking house. But, geez, close combat, my God. But I guess he just doesn't want to sack the Bronzong just yet, so he's actually going to sack something else. He's going to sack his Honchkrow here, which I kind of, I was like, whatever. I guess he just didn't find it to be useful, especially after the Rocks damage. I guess, my Bronzong's still around, so I really can't do too much. So... down goes that Honchkrow, which is nice. I love you, Honchkrow. Don't be mad at me or anything. But it's going to go down. And now he brings out, I believe he brings out the Tornadus here. And unfortunately for me, since it's Scarfed, I do not outspeed. So I'm pretty much forced to switch out here, which is unfortunate because I actually got the Relic Song off. So pretty much forced to switch. I did not want to take an Air Slash or anything, so I'm going to go into my best check to it, which is my Bronzong, and he's just going to go for the U-turn again, which, definitely was a good play, because I didn't want to sack my Meloetta just yet. So, goes for the U-turn, going to do a pretty minuscule amount of damage to my Bronzong, but now he's going to bring out that Banded Swampert again, and I had a little bit of a brain fart here, just because of the fact, it's like, oh, Superpower can't do much to me at all, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Stab Waterfall's still going to do a lot, as all the Aftertune effects. Damn it. But anyway, he's going to go for the Stab Waterfall, and I'm like, oh, shoot. That's going to actually do a pretty hefty chunk to this Bronzong. Unfortunately, this is really the only thing that I have that reliably take hits from this, and even that did about, I want to say, a quarter, if not a bit more. But I wanted to get the Toxic off just to wear the Swampert down, which probably was my best bet. Get out of the way, cat. And, Toxic in the Swampert was a pretty nice thing, so, just waterfalls and everything, but, yeah, second waterfall's going to happen. I just wanted pretty much just leaving in Bronzong here at Step Fodder. I don't want anything else to take a hit, and Bronzong's pretty much done its job. I mean, the only issue I have now is that Tornadus can kind of come in and just do whatever it wants now without, Bronzong having to halt and, its sweeping potential. Not really sweeping potential, but Bronzong's pretty much the best scout I have with Tornadus, and now it's going to die to a third waterfall, which stinks. The crit did not matter. But at least the good news is Bronzong did a great job of wearing the Swampert down. So that is excellent. it most likely will die from hazards on its next switch in, which is incredible. So now I'm going to bring up my Sharpedo, and to take some rocks damage is not a big deal, but, you know, Sharpedo is just such a big threat and everything. Now, again, I make a pretty big misplay here. I just didn't want to, you know, I don't want to miss Hydro Pump and do stuff. So what I do, I again go for the safe Dark Pulse, which I really should be taking some more. I should have been taking some more risks and just gone for, you know, a Hydro Pump or maybe even an Ice Beam. But now I decided to go for the easy route, and I just hit the Umbreon on the switch with Dark Pulse, which does practically nothing, and that light is in the way. But you know, I'm pretty much just giving up at this point because I feel, you know, what the hell do I do to this Umbreon? So just going to smack it with a Hydro Pump, and I'm like, that's so close, but it's not close enough, and he's just going to wish, and I'm just like, at this point I'm getting pretty discouraged, so I'm like, what the hell do I do? What do I do here? So I know I've got to switch because he's going to protect anyway, so I'm going to switch out. You know, knowing the Protect's coming, and I go into my Shaman pretty much just in here as Death Fodder. Now, what I failed to comprehend early on was that this Umbreon doesn't have an attacking move. It actually just runs Sub-Baton Pass with Protect, which is kind of unconventional, I guess. You know, you'd see most Umbreons I see usually have Toxic or something. And Foul Play is just so useful. I really don't see where you should get rid of, you know, Foul Play. It just hits everything hard. But he's going to protect us, what I'm going to lock myself into. Just going to go for Seed Flare because why not, to be honest. And, you know, he's going to get some leftovers going. And, you know, Shaman just here to do whatever it wants and go for finally a Spec Seed Flare. It's going to do a pretty nice chunk to the Umbreon, but not too much. And he's just going to go for a Substitute, which I didn't quite understand. Actually, no, he was banking probably on a Seed Flare miss because I have actually a pretty terrible luck of Seed Flare despite it being an 85 accuracy move. But he's going for Protect again to Scout, which is like getting annoying at this point, but whatever. And, you know, leftovers and whatever he wants. But hopefully, I gotta pray my Seed Flare doesn't miss, and luckily for me, it doesn't. So that's a pretty big deal, and I think he's just gonna Baton Pass out this turn. Hoping, you know, banking on the Seed Flare miss, and then he can get a free sub off to anything, which would have been absolutely horrendous if that happened to me. So he's gonna Baton Pass right back out to the Scarf Tornadus. And I'm just sacking. I'm just, you know, I decided to sack Shaman at this point because it's useless. It's, you know, it's just not going to do me any good at this point. So decided to sack it as I just died to a U-turn, which is fine. Gets me switch initiative, which is great. So I really don't mind that the Tornadus, you know, killed me. So I believe, what does he go into here? He goes into the Zapdos. Now, I believe I go into my Umbreon, actually. And that's just Soft Rocks and stuff. Do I go into Umbreon after Pressure Activates? After Twin Effects are annoying. But, yeah, I do go into Umbreon. And now, this is where things start to get interesting. Because little do I really didn't realize at this point that Umbreon was such, you know, a pretty hefty wall, I guess, of sorts. And, he brings back out a Sleeping Bronzong because the Zapdos can't do anything to Umbreon, which is great. I'm just going to set up a Wish. I'm going to adjust here for a minute, sorry. But, I'm going to get up a Wish. And, yeah, because the only Pokemon that I have a chance of winning with is my Sharpedo. This Bronzong is asleep. And what I finally decided to do, I'm going to pass that Wish to my Sharpedo. This is the game-changing play because he just, you know, figured maybe Bronzong could take 2 foul plays and wake up and cause more havoc. But not going to be the case. I'm going to bring up my Sharpedo and get all my HP back thanks to Umbreon. This is the game-changing play, and Sharpedo is going to proceed to just wreak havoc on the weakened team. Going to go for the safe Dark Pulse. Now I have no problem really going for Dark Pulse because it will do a hefty chunk to whatever tries to come in. Umbreon will die to it now. And down goes Bronzong, which is great. And now he brings out, I believe he brings out Tornadus as I get my first speed boost going. Now, knowing the fact that, you know, I do now have speed of +1 because, you know, Tornadus is faster with Scarf, I'm going to Protect. And why not, you know, because it's going to get me faster. So he actually goes for Focus Blast, which kind of surprised me. He's banking on a, you know, a hit. But I get that +2, and now I can proceed to wreck Train. Not even bother using Ice Beam at this point, but I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse, and it's going to finish off that Tornadus. Down that goes, and he's just down to those last two Pokemon, which are his Zapdos and his Umbreon. And figuring, I guess, because I was going to go for the Ice Beam. Oh, no, he's still a Swampert, that's right. But I forget that this actually dies to Hazard upon the switch. So down goes Swampert, which is amazing. And now, again, now his last two are Zapdos and Umbreon. Now, he just knew that due to the Stealth Rock damage, he would not be able to take a modest Life Orb Ice Beam. So he just decides to run at this point after the pressure activates. But it was a really good game. It was pretty intense. Special Sharpedo FTW. What a monster. But definitely the three MVPs of this team, Sharpedo, Umbreon, and Meloetta. I mean, whew. So don't discount Meloetta. It's the only Pokemon of a damaging sleep move. So, yeah, that's fun. GG Red Shiner 23. Rate, comment, sub, and later, guys.